discussed SSG, it's only right that we look at the other side of the stage, right? In Sentinels, we mentioned how they are one of the teams that is chasing the top 3. They want to break in, they want to establish themselves as a grand final competitor, and they have made that team change. They have made the replacement, and Precision is now on this lineup. And when we saw this move made, we had a conversation and both of us reacted in the same way. It's like, this is the player. This is perfect for the chemistry of this team.
It really is, and I think you brought up a really great point about specifically his natural tendencies, right? The way that he plays the game seems like it really fits in well chemistry-wise.
Yeah, 100%. You're looking at Precision, and you compare him to a player like Falcated. Falcated is usually the back guy, right? He's going to be cleaning up a lot of damage, picking up multi-kills, but Precision, he puts up similar numbers, but it's in a way that he's taking space on the map. He's always looking to move forward, puts himself in such good positions to get the first advantage in a 1v1, which just completely opens the map up. And I'm very excited to see how that man on your screen right there, LethuL, works alongside Precision, because I feel that there's a real budding duo in their natural tendencies and the way that they see Halo Infinite.
Yeah, it does feel like this team needed some new blood, right? Some new energy, a younger player. That's exactly what Precision brings, and based on Friday results alone, there's a lot of things to be optimistic about, especially taking a team like Optic to game number 5. And really, they can put those memories to bed for Arlington, right? Write that off as a one-off event, and they can look forward to the rest of their season. And really, we could call this the first look properly at Sentinels this year.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. This is the first opportunity for Sentinels to show what we can expect, not just here in London, but for the rest of the season as well. And one player on Sentinels, of course, who has, I was going to say fond memories of traveling to London, but the man hates flying, so it's probably not as fond as we want to say, is LethuL, right? Doesn't like flying, but last time he was in London, I'm pretty sure that he lifted a trophy.
Yeah. Man is no stranger to main stages. Man is no stranger to trophy lifting, and he wants to do a little bit of more of that this year, of course. As a reminder, that Oddball Street's really going to be the first one we get to see these teams face off against each other, but also specifically if Sentinels could steal that oddball, then things get even more interesting, right? That's when we start to say, okay, wait a minute, this series can go a very different direction. I think statistically, a lot of folks are going to be thinking SSG probably has that game number 1. Not necessarily easily, but certainly statistically has the likelihood of taking that game number 1. Then it might be Sentinels' opportunity to bounce back in 2 and 3. However, if they take game number 1, then all of that's out the window, and this thing will be even more interesting than we anticipated. By the way, shout out to 2 legends on the stage coaching. Icons of the game, coaching these two, especially if you look at the Halo 3 era. Huge achievements for both of these players. Chig on your left, coaching Sentinels, and of course Elamite Warrior, fresh off the back of a tournament win, coaching Spacestation Gaming.
I think this is going to be a fascinating series. You know, we talked about how Sentinels took Optic to that game 5 a little bit earlier in the tournament. Well, if they can do something similar or maybe just get over the line against SSG, then the conversation has to be not just getting into a grand finals, but is this a team who might be lifting a trophy here in London? A lot of talk to be done, a lot of games to be played before we get to that point. But speaking of games to play, you can see the players look like they're loaded in, Andy. It's time for us to get underway here.
Cannot wait. As we said, SSG's debut on the main stage here in London. They've traveled a long way. A lot of fans in the room have traveled a long way as well to see this team and what they might bring this weekend here. Game number 1, Oddball on Street, Space Station up against Sentinels.
Well, let's see who gets out of the hot start here. Opening strategy, always important, of course, on any map and mode, but especially when you have teams that are so evenly matched. This is going to be the perfect play setter, I feel. The perfect pace setter for this series. Oddball's going to give everyone a chance to get into this game. Let's see who can make the big plays.
It really will. Keep in mind, yeah, this is not an Argyle CTF. This is not a slow burn here. We're right into game number 1 on your main stage. Welcome to day number 2 at the HCS London Major. First kills being exchanged here. Bound is your first to fall. We'll see if Sentinels can continue the damage off the back, and they do. It's an early 3 dead here for the side of Sentinels.
Yeah, it looked like Spacestation were trying to get an early grab on that oddball as well, just get it back towards that tower, but weren't able to quite do so. And by winning that early fight, you're going to see that Sentinels now have a good position on the map to fight for that camo, which is, of course, on that delayed spawn.
Precision manages to stay alive in the L as well. That'll be more continuous kills coming in. By the way, 5-0 is the side of Sentinels in kills off the opening break, and they're going to be quite happy about that.
Camo's still up, by the way. You can see the respect that's being shown for both teams. They want to make sure they get the kills previous to picking that camo up. Precision, that would have been a big 1v1 win early on against StelluR, but hey, it's StelluR. It's a lot more difficult to do than any other player you go up against.
Brings up a great point that you and I were talking about, Mark, and you kind of highlighted the fact that it feels like for Sentinels to take this series, they're going to need to really have some key individual performances coming out. If you take these 8 players in a straight 4v4, a lot of people are going to be betting on Spacestation to take those 4v4 wins. We're going to need to see big individual efforts out of the players on Sentinels if they want to take this series.
Well, the Shroud screen is keeping Eco alive for a little bit longer than he would have wanted if you're on the Sentinel side, but LethuL still putting down good damage here as he works in and around the cafe towards that oddball. And it seems like they're winning the majority of these fights on the pink street. Flanker's going to come in. He'll be dealt with as well. That was a momentary 3 dead here, although one player is still alive to deal with. Precision does exactly that. And there's an opportunity here, a strong opportunity for Sentinels early to set up around that tower.
Sentinels picking up where they left off yesterday without a doubt. By the way, continuing to outslay. They're now outslaying 16-6 in the game.
Yeah, fantastic start for them here on the main stage. And they'll hope that momentum can keep going, not just at the start of this first game, but when they're in those final moments of the series that might decide which way it goes. Speaking of which way it goes, the camo is up bottom middle once again. bubu's away with that ball, and you can see the nades are flying down, but it's StelluR who gets away with it.
StelluR needs to make a play here, as we said, being heavily outslayed and also now heavily outscored. It's 41-4 in the game. We'll see if StelluR can make a play here for SSG.
2 dead here for Sentinels. In the meantime, they're trying to flush out Falcated as well before trying to pick that oddball up. And the oddball is still being contested here, even though the kills are going in the favor of Spacestation. That oddball is in a little bit of a precarious place to try and scoop up and bring back towards that tower.
Camo will dissipate in the end. Not a huge factor, to be honest. They're going to try to make plays off of it, but it won't be easy. Precision with another kill as well. That will be 3 dead for SSG, and more damage coming in on Lqgend. He's not going to have any hope at bottom A. He gets taken down. 22-12 in the kills category, and it's 49-7 in favor of Sentinels. Falcated also opening up with a killing spree of his own, and this is a hell of a start for Sentinels.
It's a hell of a start for Precision as well. He's 6-3, but 9 assists alongside it as well. And this is why they picked him up, right? Not many players win an individual fight against StelluR. He has that red gun, and he has to be perfect with it. And that's exactly what he is. He neutralizes the flank. He allows the rest of Sentinels to clean up damage, and he's the playmaker here in Sentinels with a strong lead as he now takes down Lqgend as well.
Good damage as well on bound. That should be cleaned up in back A. We'll see if LethuL can be wise to the task. Going to try to wrap around here and get through the shout. Not easy, though, in a 1v2, but LethuL able to somehow at least sneak out the one and trades the second one as well. Unbelievable. As those kills will come in. Might even have been a team nade based on what I saw on the kill feed, but most importantly, that was 3 dead again for SSG.
And look at the score at the moment. It's 67 and rising, with the oddball still in the hands here of Sentinels. And it keeps on rising, and we're starting to get to the situation in this game where we're talking about round 1 going to Sentinels, and not really much of an answer. A little bit of a whimper here in round number 1 for Spacestation.
Killing spree again for Falcated. By the way, that's 2 separate killing sprees for Falcated in this game. That is very, very rare to see ever at this high a level of play, but they do it again. It was 3 dead for SSG yet again, outslaying 34-20 right now.
Looks like they've got a call on where Bound is as well, and he's got the camo, but he's gonna, ooh, I was gonna say, he might be in a situation where he gets taken down without doing too much to impact the setup and the break the Spacestation were looking for. However, he does come out of it, he does stay alive, and as that last player alive, has now put himself in a position to get his teammates up the map and stay alive with his camo.
A little bit deja vu, right? We just saw StelluR doing the same thing. Can Bound make a play here from the courtyard? Not going to be easy to do. Finally, he's taken down. It will be a momentary on the map advantage coming in. 3 dead finally for Sentinels. It feels like we haven't even seen that all game. SSG now with their work cut out for them. They trail by 64, and they're going to try to mount a comeback.
It's the first opportunity, though, they've really had to set up and had Sentinels trapped on a spawn. You can see they got that final kill when they saw where the first spawner came in. So now they can allocate their resources to one side of the map and expect where this push is going to come in from Sentinels. And they're doing a pretty good job at the moment to get that first kill. They have the numbers advantage, but shields have been broken. That's why that oddball is still down on the ground, and a little bit of trepidation again about grabbing that oddball and moving it away.
Falcated falls as well. Precision was down at the moment. Now there's going to be continued bad spawn rotations coming in for the side of Sentinels. They're going to need to find a way out of this, and a double kill like that from bubu is exactly how you do it.
Great shots coming in from bubu, and it is at the point in Halo Infinite where you're not just looking at one player, it's everybody on the main stage who can make a play to change the pace of the game. And now you're seeing Sentinels make that break thanks to the man on your screen with a beautiful moustache over his lip, and now he has that oddball in his hand as well.
I was going to say, you need a play to be made. Give the opportunity to the man with the mustache and the mullet. He hits the double, gets a 3rd kill as well in the back. The man's doing it looking good. 90 points on the board for Sentinels.
Falcated with some good shots as well. A little bit of a peak shot. Comes back and finishes off StelluR as well. And you can see with the spacing that Sentinels have on the map, there might be an opportunity for them to get just a few more points on the board as well, but it looks like Camo is the play. And again, the Shroud screen is allowing players to stay alive far longer than they should.
97 on the board, and with that little dipsy doodle on the Neons, that will be the round. Sentinels alive and well on day number 2. They will close out round number 1 of Oddball Streets, and you and I talked about the most interesting scenario of this series would be if Sentinels were to take game number 1. And my God, did they look great in the first round.
We talked about how this series might be built around massive individual plays, little moments that kind of swing the balance. Well, round number 1 showed that, right? Precision with that play, bubu with the play. They're the two that stand out as making the difference in those tight situations. At the start of this one, though, it's going to be Spacestation who win the opening battle. 4 dead for Sentinels off the rip, and SSG straight on that oddball.
Completely different start here for the side of Spacestation. Maybe a little bit of a wake-up call as they're going to now try to get into a lead here. Only a few points, of course, exchanged early on. And finally, Bound will now have a tram hold. By the way, worth noting, our first tram hold of the entire game so far. We did not see this ball at all in the first round coming into tram. It was entirely held around tower at back A. Finally, he will be taken down, and now Sentinels has a chance to make a camo play.
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it, the timing of that? It looked like Spacestation all got back to tram, but the timing in which it took them to do so meant that Sentinels could get up the map and fight for that camo, and by doing so, not really a lot of time on the board off that hold for Spacestation as they had to change their attention. And I tell you what, they had to change their attention, but attention is locked at the moment onto anyone who steps into the red court. Falcated, he is shooting so well at the start of this game.
Big play from Fal. He also got eagle-eyed. Based on the positioning right now, I think it was actually Bound from B-Rail or so, maybe Laundry, who actually eagle-eyed him with camo and almost shut it down. However, now he's going to try to make a Neons push happen. They do have 2 down, though, so not going to be a very straightforward push. Going to need to make sure he hits the shots here.
Now it's the tower setup in the side
Sneaks through.
hands, I should say, of Spacestation. Falcated trying to thread the needle through the setup, and like you say, manages to pick up 1 kill on his way forward. And I love this, just a little bit of patience, right?
Yep.
Even though he got that first kill, he knows the attention is going to be on him. Spacestation would have been shouting that call out. Now he's still alive and still causing problems.
This is a little wild. The Shroud is caught. StelluR in the end does win that mental battle. 2v2 on the map momentarily, but StelluR is able to drop and Shroud and really win a battle that would have been otherwise quite difficult to win. Maybe that's the boost that SSG needed. Worth mentioning, Sentinels is still outslaying 63-48 overall. However, we do now see a narrow lead for SSG.
Camo going to be picked up this time by SSG, so it's 1-1 at the start of this round. And look at the score, it is so close. And with this kind of little transitional hold at the moment, you're going to see Sentinels go back into a lead. But you would expect Kevin Eco Smith on your screen with a bulldog and a camo for him to be able to find some kills to break the setup. But elsewhere, look what's happened. SSG have lost a couple of kills, which means that Eco has to play this far more conservatively.
Let's see what he does here. Maybe a double and a ball toss is the best he can do, but not easy. Finds himself in a 1v3. As you saw, he was the last player alive, and it's a really tricky situation. The best he could have hoped for probably was a quick kill and a ball toss in the end. He just got taken down before they could even play the ball. Oh, no. Bound wins the battle. He had absolutely no business winning against LethuL. Once again, maybe an opportunity for them to get numbers on the board.
Remember that moment in a few moments' time, because those kind of little momentum shifters can really just motivate a team, fire them up a little bit. And a player like Bound does not need to be asked twice to find that momentum falling into his gameplay, as we now see Sentinels go down 3 again, and it will be SSG who go back into a lead here as Lqgend is crouching in this corner with that ball.
LethuL not letting that impact the mentals, though. You see he wins a battle back A, just to keep numbers a little bit more interesting. If Bound had taken down LethuL the second time, this would have been a very difficult push, but already Sentinels is able to get the first pick off of the following push, purely because LethuL got that kill back A.
And Precision immediately holding forward, and it's something I love about his gameplay. He's never afraid to engage, do damage, and look at this. He gets 1 beat down, he gets 2 shots onto another player, and it's cleaned up immediately. That's what they needed, Sentinels, a player who is not afraid to step forward and deal damage.
It looks so simple on screen, but it's exactly what you said, Mark, before we got into this match. You do need a first man in. That's not easy to do against a team like Spacestation. To poke in PD from tower side, hit those shots, then make sure you hit the melee as well on the door player. You pave the way for your team to push in. And off of that damage, off of the double kill as well, they will continue to have 2 dead. They will continue to score now, 56-41.
Loving the aggression I'm seeing from Sentinels. It's something we've been critical of them and their previous lineups in tournament, in close games. Sometimes they're a little bit afraid, it felt like, to hold forward, to get that momentum if they get that opening damage and capitalize off of it. You're not seeing that here. Everybody is playing at such a similar pace, and it's looking like Spacestation is struggling to deal with it a little bit.
Certainly does. Right now, very good triple team coming in the back of tower, but guess what? That ball is still played. Bound gets taken down by a perfect grenade coming in. Still a momentary man advantage coming in for the side of SSG. It will be a delayed 2 dead, continuing the spawn cycle as well. So off of those kills, you would think here SSG will take the lead in just a few moments' time.
They should be able to with just the distance that you can see Sentinels have to cover before they can engage with StelluR, but they picked up a couple of kills elsewhere, and Bound is going to be challenging, but look at the teamwork. Doesn't even get the opportunity to be finished because bubu is there to keep him alive, and Sentinels keep applying this pressure. SSG find themselves 2 dead once again. Eco's on the flank here. StelluR's trying to engage a Precision inside of PD, and it's a little 2v2 here at the back of tower.
Big 2v2 moment, just as you say. Eco tries to go heaven. Wow, big shots coming from Eco to still take out Foul. He needs to stay alive. They're going to try to push out of tires here, 2v2 yet again.
2v2, but odd ball in the hands of Sentinels. bubu now finds himself as the last alive, and you can see how difficult it is sometimes to find that player who is last alive. Lqgend sniffs him out and says, time for you to have a little bit of a think in the respawn screen, as SSG will grab that odd ball once more, and they're starting to find just a little bit of rhythm here as Sentinels find themselves 2 dead once more, and the lead is starting to grow here for SSG.
It's a trade that Sentinel's going to be happy with. Something's up at Laundry. Things are getting dicey over there. Any battle that takes place in that Laundry window is just getting awfully interesting here. All 8 players alive, and right now SSG with a heavy lead here. They're going to cross the 90-point mark, only 10 points away.
Yeah, so it's a really strong push on the arcade side coming in from Sentinels. They want to try and overwhelm the numbers. And it looks like this 2v2, they've got the opening damage. Lqgend now finds himself with no shields. He's waiting for Bound to come in and try and clean up some of the damage before he can re-challenge. But Falcated, he's done well enough to get one trade. Lqgend's trying to finish him off, but the pole dancing, it falls in the favor of Lqgend. He shakes it best and he comes out with that old ball.
2 dead here. They're just going to continue to hold. You have to wonder if the play ball will come in. Looks like the pressure will not come in time. Lqgend should be able to close it out.
It will be indeed. I was going to say, surely no, but Precision flies in. And SSG with just 1 second remaining to close out this round now have to do a little bit more work. LethuL will find a kill as well, and Bounce found himself alone on the tire saying, I thought we had this round won.
Thought it was over. Decides to go in. Precision actually wins the battle. Now it will need to be absolutely perfect plays, but it was a momentary 3 dead. Can Lqgend get a grab here? We'll have to see. Not going to be easy. Pressure might still come in. Precision or someone should finish. Yes, they do. That will keep 3 dead. StelluR was your last player alive. It's not over yet.
Strap yourselves in here, everybody. Precision versus StelluR, not for the first time. It's damage, but it's not the kill. Eco gets another one as well, when you would expect, with Sentinels finding themselves 3 dead, make it 4 dead. The final second and point will be collected by SSG, who are back into this game number 1.
Big moves there from SSG. Let's not forget, this game was tied at right around 60 points or so, and all of a sudden it's 90-60 in favor of SSG. They are still being outslayed pretty heavily by 12 kills. It's 96-84 overall, but guess what? We wouldn't have it any other way. 1 round will decide it between these 2 in game number 1.
And one thing that's standing out for me a little bit statistically is you're looking at StelluR and you're looking at the stats 17 and 21. It's not what you're used to seeing, but you're also not used to seeing him having over a minute of ball time in this game so far. So StelluR showing that the objective is never frightened of it, and he's been the man that's been tasked to be responsible for getting those points on the board.
See what StelluR can do. So often in these early games, it's a player fighting from the L. We've seen time and time again, just trying to make sure you can push out very good shots. A little reversal comes in against Falcated. That was 3 dead momentarily. bubu's your last player alive. Probably will. So glad I didn't speak too soon. Leave it to bubu. dubu somehow stays alive with the camo.
LethuL said, I got you, buddy. Don't worry about it. You use that camo to get us back into this round. You use this to break this setup, and that's exactly what bubu is doing. Damage from the red gun. It can't really be matched, apart from if he's got a bulldog. However, here's Falcated to keep bubu alive. Everybody taking turns to keep each other in this.
And with 3 dead, we've seen what bubu can do. Let's get into a listen in here with Sentinels.
Charge up.
Yeah, and Nest.
One
One shot Nest, go, 1 shot Nest. I have to back up.
Yeah, back up. Purple a little. Yo, up driveway. We have purple.
Yeah. Be a hard first death. Yeah, top driveway.
They're all gonna be B.
Yeah, and RD music.
And IV steps.
In PD. I have death cam PD.
Trash weak. Watch out, trash.
He's back ace, hitting back right now. He went top. He went top.
Bro. Help you, Ethan. Help you.
25 camo. Nice.
One B guys.
I spawned your PD. I have your PD.
Watch my mid cross.
Yeah, I am. Could be there already. I just got it. Yo, Ami, heaven.
Drive it up here.
Could be PD or something.
Yo, arcade weak. Arcade will die. Purple, I think.
Yeah, camo guys.
Already purple, I'm weak.
I'm here. Weak bound.
Dude, I got
2. 2 here.
Oh, I'm netting.
Go 1 shot.
You put your cabin down.
I got him.
Keep trying to milk.
2 shot bound, 2 shot. On the... He went ATM window.
Camo's up.
2 there, different guy. The other guy went ATM.
They have camo features. One absolute one below.
ATM window.
Yo, front A. No more try ATM window. Bottom A.
Cafe right now, cafe right now.
Bottom A and cafe. Yeah, we're dead.
Yeah, two
Two days,
sides,
two days.
two sides, literally two sides.
Back A. Bottom A, one shot, bottom A, one shot. That's nice! 3 dead!
Bottom mid or something.
Let's go, mid. Trash. Weak.
Looking for You want be real fast.
Be real.
We need pillars. I'm about to flank
I'll lay
P-Series.
them on TD for
I'm about to
free.
flank P-Series. Hold on.
Yeah, already caution. Pull.
Lance, one shot, Tiger, one shot.
One shot PD.
Tiger dead.
Could be Mike,
Back
could be Mike.
PD
Let's do that guy.
Back PD door.
Yeah,
Yo,
legend.
purple.
Back PD or yeah, weak legend.
Down by B. I'm down by B.
Yeah, weak back PD.
Cafe, one shot.
Yeah, weak Heaven. He went
Bottom mid chasing bottom mid.
Back A.
One thing that's impressed me from that listing is you can see Sentinels as they go 4 dead. I will say it's just the communication in making sure they're prioritizing the kill in the comms. What is the most important one to go for? And they all collapse and work towards that target.
Also with amazing performance once again, continuing to slay heavily and also now leading 53-24. Amazingly calm in that list. And you even have Precision just absolutely just breaking some ankles there with StelluR in the bottom A battle. And just really impressed with how calm and collected this team is.
One thing we've got to keep in mind, though, is how many times do we see teams run the big 3 close, but when it comes to the big moments at the end of the game, that's where the difference is made. We might be seeing that again in this round number 3 here, as SSG have kind of started to just creep up on that score. It's just 10 points between the 2 teams. And this is getting to the dicey moments. This is where the 1v1s start to mean even more than they did a few moments ago.
Yeah, just like you said, 2 dead there momentarily for Spacestation, but these next kills over these next 3 minutes of play are absolutely going to be vital in terms of controlling the map, locking down as much time as you can. First kill does come in for Sentinels.
It's a very heavy push coming in on the pink side here from Spacestation. They committed 3 players to it. Bounty's going to move and try and take a flank, but he'll be taken down as, not taken down immediately. Finally, LethuL does. Last player alive is going to be Lqgend. It's 4 dead here for Spacestation. And like I mentioned, when we came out the listing, Sentinels were the team who are 4 dead. It's a perfect break coming in from them.
Respawn's coming in. Ooh, StelluR just wraps the corner at the imperfect time there. You really can't blame StelluR. Just unfortunate he wraps caution at the exact incorrect time in terms of where the players were on the side of Sent. That will continue to be a killing and slaying advantage coming in as 2 will fall for SSG yet again.
SSG under pressure here. You can see Falcated wants to take down Lqgend and take him down. He does. The PD is clear now. As Sentinels might be thinking about grabbing that ball and bringing it back to the safety of Falcated, who's up on Heaven at the moment and looking for any information he can find.
You have to wonder with B spawns there if SSG should have waited a moment, right? They got a little bit of a gift there. If they just sat in music, they maybe had an opportunity to put together an even stronger push. Falcated with another kill, 2v2 on the map momentarily. 90 points on the board for Sentinels and rising.
Last player alive, though, is going to be Precision, and he's no shields back tower. Lqgend looking to take this 1v1. It's a beat down, and Precision will actually win it, which now allows the rest of Sentinels to get towards him and fight for this oddball. If he does not win that, then SSG have great map presence, great map control, and they have a full setup they can work with.
Here comes the push, not going to be easy. LethuL takes early damage, which is going to make this push pretty difficult. The 2 will agree to disagree, and they will shake hands and move away from the battle. 91 points on the board. This is do or die for SSG. They will need to hold at least 2 full rounds of slays. It could actually be like 3 rounds of slays before this one's over. There is no room for error.
They get across the 50-point mark, and one thing to take away as Sentinels find themselves 3 dead from that is how careful that Spacestation were being in that situation, knowing that if they just didn't prioritize a few extra kills and let one player slip through, that could have been the round. That's why you're seeing them be so careful about collecting that odd ball, making sure that when they have that ball in their hands, they have numbers elsewhere on the map to fight.
Oh, it goes perfect shroud. Also goes for the perfect rotate through the shroud up into... Ooh. Bubu's wise to it. Bubu knows someone might be in that corner because LethuL gives him the call out. And this could be the push here. 2 go down for Spacestation. It's great patience coming in for Sentinels. Keep an eye on the kill feed. That will determine it. 3 dead. Lqgend, your last player alive.
Lqgend last alive, manages to get one, but where is that oddball? It's in the hands of LethuL, and he's running away with it. He now brings it back to the bodyguard of Precision. He's trying to milk these last few seconds, but the break and the camo has gone into the hands of Bound.
Not over just yet.
Bound gets another. 3 dead here for Sentinels.
Wow.
Don't count them out just yet.
Not just yet. They tried to get the perfect rotate coming in with the ball through tires. However, got stuck in courtyard, which really cost them. Now with 2 dead and camo control, this could be big. They could run away with it here with a huge lead if they pick up these kills on Neons, but it's an important kill that comes in from LethuL.
So important to double up in that situation. Double up they do. Oddball is still down. It's a 2v2. Make it, a 1v3 all of a sudden on the map. As StelluR finds himself last alive. Falcated will find him quickly. The spawns have come in tram though, and look at this.
What?
Bound, he has vision on that oddball, but Sentinels are collapsing.
Oh my god, you thought that the transpawn was a favor. Take a look, Bubu's gonna grab it. That should be it. He gets the point on the board, and Sentinels will take game number 1 against your defending champions.
And bubu stands up and lets out a roar as well. You can see what that game 1 win means to them, and I think also, like we were discussing, means to the context of this entire series as well. SSG, such a strong traditional oddball team. Well, now they've got to find another way to win this series because game 1 goes to the team in red.
Wow, how about it? We said the most interesting reality and timeline that we could be in was if Sentinels took this game number 1. They do it in 3 rounds with a hell of a way to start the tournament. And now we find ourselves 1-0 up over SSG going into what we called a pivotal Game 2 Slayer, but now it's pivotal in a very different way than we expected.
Yeah, certainly is indeed. We mentioned how Slayers win championships. Well, maybe Slayers are going to have to do one here to win a series. I've got to talk about how good Sentinels were though, right? The one thing that stands out to me, and it's an obvious thing to kind of highlight because he's the new addition, right? But Precision's ability to win an individual as the first player forward to create space, just everyone else looks so comfortable playing off the back of that damage.
Really did. And you saw some very, very key 1v1s, and we talked about it before the series even began. It was going to always come down to specific 1v1 plays that were coming in from the side of the Sentinels players, and I think not only did they look good in certain 1v1s and stepping up with doubles and triples, but also as a team, they really look like they're on the same page.
I mean, think about the time where bubu had that camo, right? A lot of the time, he's kept alive by LethuL. LethuL is then kept alive by Fal. All of these little plays show that people are watching each other, are playing for each other, and Sentinels look good in game number 1, but let's not get carried away here. It's game number 1, right? It's a big, big win for confidence, for the scoreline, whatever you want to say for the side of Sentinels. But as you can see, you don't win a series off 1 game.
Right. An important piece, though, is I think one thing to circle back to that we should. Not easy to close out against the big 3. And there were many moments in both rounds 2 and 3 where it looked like it was not going to work out for the side of Sentinels. Of course, SSG does take that second round. And however, when you saw it was about 98-70 or so, it looked like Sentinels was maybe going to play upset. Instead, we take a look at Bound and Ledge's numbers here so far.
LeBound.
Good duo name.
Yeah, it's a very good duo name. Whoever came up with that, put that on a t-shirt.
I'd buy the shirt.
Yeah, it's gonna sell. KDs, you can see they're both exceptional, as you would expect from the 2 players who lead the line for Spacestation. But enough of the stats. It's time to get back into the action. And at the end of this game, maybe we can circle back to those stats and see if they applied to the final result of this game. We're heading over to live fire now. Slayer, 50 kills to win. And that S7 that's spinning so beautifully on our screens right now could well be the difference maker.
It really could. And guess what? What a wake-up call for SSG, right? Coming in, undoubtedly confident coming into this event after their win not too long ago in Arlington, Texas. But now they find themselves trailing in their first main stage series of the weekend. Sentinels now with a lot of momentum. Can they carry it into game number 2?
Well, bubu's going to pick up the flank early. Falcated gets 1, Precision gets a 2nd, but StelluR gets away with that sniper rifle. It's a great start, of course, for Sentinels, and it might be even better because not only do they get all the kills, they find StelluR immediately, flood StelluR, knowing his position, and get that sniper rifle back just as the camo pops as well.
I love the speed of that collapse. Dubu goes straight to scoreboard. He wastes no time, and he hits perfect shots. They also had a 2nd player who flew scoreboard, so they were always going to get that kill. Let's keep an eye on power up here.
Easy shot for the talented player like bubu to hit that one. But it looks like they might have to give up the camo in this situation. And now bubu's going to have to hit another shot. It's going to be onto Eco with that camo. Doesn't land the beat down, but the trade comes in immediately. That means the snipe's down. It means the camo is out of commission, and it means Sentinels keep that slender lead.
Once again, very, very good buddy system coming in. Always you're seeing them travel in packs, and otherwise those 2 battles that we just saw at Scoreboard and Rat Tunnel would be very different in 1v1s. As you just saw, they could have completely different fates, but we always see Sentinels coming in with the backup as well. However, as 2 fall, the game now just becomes within 1, 9-8 lead for Sentinels.
Spacestation trying to keep the pressure on. They want to pressure and make these shots with the S7 as difficult to hit as possible, and doesn't even get the opportunity to really pull it out and fire some shots without that pressure on top of him. Falcated. Spacestation now tie the game up at 11 as they flood through the garage, and you mentioned packs. Well, they're hunting as a pack at the moment.
See what they can do. They slow things down just a bit, and they really do well with the timing here. Speaking of doing well, StelluR with unbelievable shots from A-Plat. He'll pick up that kill as well. Now going to a narrow lead here at 14-12.
Precision last alive as well, and you can see he's just had to run away. He's just trying to play his life at the moment. And a slender lead now goes back over to the side of Spacestation. So they've done a great job, actually, of getting into a position to trade out kills, but also get away a couple of times to get that kill advantage back in their favor. Essentially going to turn over to the power-up side of the map in around 20 seconds as well, because the camo will be popping once again as LethuL challenges StelluR and gets put on his back.
Never a surprise, but my God, is StelluR shooting well. 3 dead momentarily. Lqgend is your only player alive here as things now come back within 1 kill between these two. Such a back-and-forth series already as we get just about a third of the way through the game.
Lqgend with the QT as well, so it has a little chance to overextend here to make the play. However, LethuL's watching that port. He's going to take him down as soon as he comes back through. Attention from the port back over to the power-up now. Camo still up. Precision and bubu pick up kills surrounding it. And off the back of the push, Spacestation find themselves 3 dead. And surely the camo has to go the way of Sen.
Yeah, back-to-back 3 deads, like you said. And they also will get the camo. Not only a 2-kill lead, but a chance to make that even more.
Attention now turns towards top middle. Sniper rifle going to be coming up. You can see the bubu. He's trying to clear a little bit of space out for the rest of his team. He wants to grab this one with the camo and make use of it.
21 to 22 now as the kills come back in favor of SSG. Now 3 dead for Sentinels. See what Precision could do. He was your last player alive. Going to have to fight solo for bottom middle. Not easy to do up against a team like SSG. Now, as we're tied and Eco has a snipe, let's get into a listen with Spacestation Gaming.
Pushing it.
Should be red. Yo,
Two red. 3 red.
Pushing red. I'm pushing red. Right, 2 guys on me. 2 guys on me. Yeah. 3 guys on me. 3 guys on me.
I still have sniper, guys.
I'm sitting screens. I might need help.
Back here, back small, 2 of them bound.
Okay, I might be.
I can help. I have sniper. No one.
Nice.
Yeah, back here still.
I'm tapping. Yeah, back
back.
small. Wait, A plate.
Dead. I got one.
A plate weak. 2 guys cement, and big door. Cement and big.
Raiden, come here, come to me. Come to me.
Go
Come to me.
tower,
Come to me.
go
Come to me.
tower.
Come to me. Make this game make sense, guys. Just
Yeah,
don't run around.
I
Don't just
spawn
run
on
around.
camera. I spawn on camera.
Top tower.
This is good. This is good.
I'm giving you top tower. I'm going this.
Okay, sure. Okay.
Okay, back B. Strength to play
Why,
for
why,
QT.
Okay, wall.
Strength to play for QT.
And I don't know if you guys. Kill Kidor. Can we go kill Kidor? Can we go kill Kidor?
Come on.
Pushing Kidor, I guess.
I'm in the vent. Watch.
Bottom mid, 2 bottom mid, 2 bottom mid, red, bottom mid.
Okay.
Right weak.
Nice.
Right, one shot, big door.
Watch out, white wall. Watch out, white wall. One spot green. Fuck, cement. Yo, one's nest.
Okay, he's big.
He's going mud, going to the combo. And there's one dice.
Yeah, we play for tower again?
Yeah, just sit top tower, Lqgend. Sit top.
Mid weak. One shot mid.
Maybe you're
2 guys mid, 2 guys mid, 2 guys mid, guys.
This QT comes back. Nice. Top tower, QT.
Created.
Nice.
Ammo 25.
Bottom tower,
That's
tower,
the tower, I think.
I'm in green, guys.
Help
It's
Lqgend,
QT's
help
out,
Lqgend, help Lqgend.
Dice on this.
I'm looking at this.
That's 2 shots.
I'm going combo.
Weakness.
Yeah, I
Okay,
can
this
go.
rich. I died from this.
Weakness.
Okay, pillars going for
Yeah, one spot.
Two pillars. One's weak as fuck. 3 over there.
Camo and
I have a good death cam.
Going. That's right now. Mike is
No,
next.
they are not. They are not, Raiden. They are not.
Ammo 3.
Top mid right now, I think, guys. Top mid right now, I think, guys.
Flank the middle.
2 top mid, 2 top mid, 3 top mid, I think. Weak in A.
Cuts right now. Cuts. 2 shot cuts. 1 shot cuts. 1 shot cuts and 1 kid.
Crits weak. Watch us crits.
Kidor.
Crits again. Watch us crits.
Helping you,
Dead.
I have cam.
Let's get fucked up. Kidor weak.
Kill him, bro. Alright, I'm going top AO camo.
Okay. Just
Green,
give us, like, info.
Green. Check green. Absolute green.
Pillars in green. Yo, I'm going top mid.
He's in the tube. In the tube. 1 shot. Good. He's absolute in the tube. Absolute jump.
That's bridge.
Tap in
top
with you.
mid, I'm
I'm
going
tapping with you.
I can go cuts.
Just bait.
That's bridge. Top tower, 1 shot. Dice weak. Top A behind you guys. Go bait.
Nice dead. Okay, top tower.
I'm cuts.
Sniper
Cut you, top tower.
I think I'm
Usually when you see a team pick up 4 kills around the camo, get the camo, it means a lead is only going one way, but Sentinels have baited them into so many plays here. Individual fights being taken, the Sentinels have won, and Sen, after that passage of play, still have an advantage. They're up by 2 with just 10 kills to go.
Absolutely wild to be able to counter the camo the way that they just did. It looked like StelluR was poised to make a big play from Sandbags. However, it's shut down yet again by Sentinels. However, just as quickly as we say that, depending on this 1v1, Spacestation goes into a narrow lead now, 42-40.
And I was about to say, Eco got away, but he didn't. There was a spike grenade left on the floor there. The Sentinels now find themselves 3 dead, and I tell you what, if there's one man, you probably look at your screens right now if you're a Sentinels fan and you don't want to see a sniper rifle in the hands off, it's going to be StelluR. With a 1 kill advantage, StelluR is poised up on top of this tower and ready to take some heads.
7 shots as well, a lot of ammo to play with, and take a look, 43 kills on the board. How fitting that he has 7 shots to burn in this sniper rifle as well. You and I, during the listen-in, talked about it. We took our headsets off for a second. You predicted at the 40 mark this game would go to a crawl after being a breakneck pace. And Mark, you called it perfectly. Things have slowed down. 43-43 here, all tied up.
I feel like I've somewhat redeemed myself after asking to go to Royal 2's POV yesterday, but We'll have to see if that's going to be the case. Precision gets that entry kill. StelluR can't quite connect. Uncharacteristic in this moment to see him missing these shots. And now LethuL comes in, gets that frag grenade to back tower, takes the snipe out of his hands, and might have just handed them the game as another kill gets picked up by bubu.
It's a summer camp classic. The buddy system prevails again. Now 47-44 on the board. 3 kills to go for Sentinels.
Spacestation needs to regroup here. They need to get numbers back on the map, but Sentinels want to try and hunt them down. They want to try and keep this pressure on, and why wouldn't you, as Foul gets the 49. There's 1 kill to go here for Sentinels, not just to win this game, Andy, but to go 2 up in the series.
And guess what? They can just bait camo here. A 4-kill lead at 49. That's going to be it. They don't even need to bait the camo. Sentinels takes game number 2.
Look at bubu!
They close it out. Bubu exchanging some choice words across the stage as well.
He was casting a spell or something. Whatever he was doing, he's going to hope it works. That's the joke.
Whatever spell he's casted, we have supporting music as well.
Incredible stuff from Sentinels in those final moments, though. I mean, we've seen that end game 1,000 times now on Halo Infinite, right? And usually StelluR up on top of the tower, he's going to peel someone. He's going to get your opening. He's going to be able to hit a body. But the constant pressure and also the fearlessness, I would say, for that push on the cuts to try and isolate and take him down. Sentinels are making plays out here. They are looking ballsy.
5 shots taken and no kills recorded from those snipe shots. And just like you said, StelluR trying to hold that angle on dummies. He eventually backs down, but it's a perfect 2 or 3-man push that came in from dummies up to C-plat and back tower. It's a perfect grenade from LethuL to close it out. And look at your scoreboard. I don't think anybody would have placed the bets this way. 2-1. Oddball Streets in favor of Sentinels. 50-45 StelluR on live fire. Let's not forget, with last year's roster, Spacestation was undefeated in StelluRs against Sentinels. This new team, Precision and what he's brought to this roster, clearly it's a very, very different team. 50-45 in game number 2, and we now could see on a wild card, brand new game type of Stronghold's Interference, potentially a 3-0 Sentinels win here against your defending champions if they can close it out. We'll take a look at some highlights from that fantastic game number 2.
One thing to notice as well when you look at those scores, it's 2-1, so it looks close, but 2 of those rounds of oddball, especially the first one, was not close. StelluR, I would say, between 2 of the best teams that we have in the Halo Championship Series, when you're taking on a team who's just won a title, a 5-kill difference, it's a pretty comfortable one when it comes to that final moment of the game, when you're calling yourselves the winners. These are some of the stats as well from Strongholds at HCS London, and no surprise to see the 2 players on your screen who love to be aggressive and rotate around those hills. This is going to be a real battle here, and Bao needs to be the player, you feel, for SSG to just step up a little bit in this game and prove that maybe he is the one who can change their fortunes.
Yeah, really what we're expecting to see. Very rarely do you see Bao go negative in a StelluR. He just went 13-16 in that last one. So going to be looking to making sure that he's in the right places at the right time, but let's also not forget, they're not going to have a ton to fall back on in terms of the amount of game type time they have on this game number 3.
I just want to say as well, Precision, the man on the right-hand side of that stat screen, he went 17-10 in that last game. And when you're looking and you're doing your scouting, you're hoping when you sat down at the end of a game 2 and you tune up in the series that the new guy's putting up those kind of numbers. It makes you feel much more comfortable in the decision that you've made.
Sentinels management is somewhere in the back of the room, and there's like, new guy's not bad. 17-10 in a game that we win by 5, we'll take it. Precision looking so good. Unsurprisingly, we were so excited to see what he might bring to this roster. We know Sentinels fans around the world were excited to see what he might do, and it is an unbelievable start for them up against Spacestation. They lead 2-0, and they're 1 game away from closing out the series.
Well, something interesting to mention here, you can see Sentinels smiling, understandably so, 2-0 up in the series on the main stage, sat in their seats, ready to go. SSG have just stepped away. They've taken that opportunity to step away and just collect their thoughts away from the main stage, and they did something similar in Arlington in a grand final, and then they won a few games in a row that took them to a championship.
That's true. We should mention optional break, of course, for these teams after a few sets of games, depending on the length of the series. If it's a best of 5 or a best of 7, those are a bit different in terms of when those breaks are allowed, but SSG does take theirs. Maybe a bit shaken, caught off guard off of the first 2 games. Certainly not where they expected to be after their first 2 games on the main stage. And now maybe a chance for them to refocus as you get a chance to see the stage from this angle here. All 4 seats are vacant. As you said, SSG has stepped away to have a quick chat. And Sentinels with a lot of time to think about this game number 3. But this one's going to be interesting because both teams, of course, it goes without saying, have the least amount of game type on this next game type.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting game type to talk about, but I also want to talk about the interesting setup that you have as the main stage, right? Because if bubu stands up and screams across the stage, you probably don't quite hear it from the traditional main stage that we have.
You bring up a great point. At a traditional main stage, you cannot even stand up and scream across anything. Right?
Exactly.
You'd be screaming down a 40-foot gap down the line. However, instead, we knew this was going to be fiery and dicey when we first saw this room. To have a traditional kind of head-to-head setup was going to allow for a little bit of extra fire, a little bit of extra, you know, English, pardon the pun, in the series. And bubu's already taken advantage of that, and now we'll see what SSG comes back with.
Well, this is an update from the championship bracket for you at the moment. You can see the game we're watching right now in the winners' quarterfinals. Sentinels with that 2-game advantage, 1 away from closing it out. And whoever wins this game, well, you can celebrate a game against Shopify Rebellion in the winners' semifinals as they took down Cloud9 3-1. On the other side, FaZe Clan, they get the job done as well, 3-1. Optic with a 3-0 against Proton means FaZe Clan versus Optic Gaming is waiting in the wings.
Later today, we can't wait to jump into that one. We'll also take a look at the elimination side of the bracket as well to see who has already dropped.
Try again.
Reversal Perfy.
Nailed it.
Waiting for their opponents. Cloud9 and Mindfreak will be facing off each other as well. Native Gaming and Quadrant, an elimination match. That's a high stakes one as the trumpets start to roar behind me. Proton Gaming and SWAT Esports will be your last elimination match that we wait for down at the bottom of the bracket.
I didn't realize how much my life could improve by just constantly being followed by a trumpet.
I was going to say,
here we are.
Doesn't matter how many times I stutter. As soon as the trumpets start playing, everything is just fine as we get ready for the next game on the main stage. Just in case you're just joining us here, we have an unbelievable start to day number 2. It's Sentinels versus Spacestation Gaming. And Sentinels right now 1 game away from not just the upset, as SSG re-enters the room and they will retake the main stage. Sentinels not only 1 game away from the upset, but also 1 game away from a potential 3-0.
I can only imagine, by the way, the reason that was played by the fantastic trumpeter, which might be the incorrect term.
That might not be the right term in 2024.
Yeah, for our brass section. Was dedicated to me, because I'm a big Arsenal fan. William Saliba song. So shout out to you. Thank you very much for that. Let's turn our attentions away from my brain.
Just to make sure we can keep our jobs here, I want to also say the brass and percussion sections that are here present, because we don't want to rule out the giant big drum that's also in the room.
A pair of hats, there's a bit of percussion knocking about next to it as well, nicely.
Big shout out to really all classes of instruments here today.
Anyway, the break is over. Thank God for our careers. And, of course, everyone who's watching right now, because it means we can get back into the action. And it gives us a chance to talk about interference, right? It gives us a chance to talk about the unpredictable nature of this next game. Now, if you're sat on the SSG side, is that a good thing, or is that a bad thing for you at this point in the series?
I would say it's a bad thing, right? When you talk about a team like SSG, at a moment like this, coming off the back of a championship and now being down 2-0 in this series, you probably want as much control and comfortability as you can find in a series. And the newest game type in Halo Infinite's suite of game types is not really going to provide that. However, they may be very, very confident on this game type, especially based off of the time that they've had on the rig, of course, as well.
And I would say as well, traditionally, you're looking at a team who can get running on a game type. You're looking at Strongholds. Yes, it's a new map. Yes, it's got a few little different nuances to what we saw on Halo 5. Of course, the movement on Halo Infinite, very, very different, but it is a game type where if they get a triple cap, before you know it, they can start running away with it, and all of that momentum just starts to flood back to the side of SSG. Taking a look at some of the stats from this series, though, and I mean, you're looking at the 2 people you expect to be top of the kill leaderboard for this team, Precision and Falcated. Both play the game a little bit differently, but working together beautifully for their squad.
Let's also not forget, if we also think about Halo 5 talent that has a lot of experience on running a game like this as fast as they can on the rig, names like Bound, StelluR, and Eco are fierce names in Halo 5, of course, and Halo Infinite is no exception. However, when I specifically think of Strongholds on the rig, those are 3 players I absolutely don't want to play against. And then you also think of what Lqgend's going to bring to this as well. They should be looking good here in terms of the play style and chemistry on this game type. The question is, will Sentinels continue where they picked off in game number 2?
Well, the team talk is over. Both teams are back on our main stage, and it looks like we're ready to get back into this series, and it's time for something new, everybody. Interference Strongholds is where we find ourselves at such a fascinating point in this series. 250 points to win. And of course, that overshield going to be so vital alongside the thrust and that snipe.
Can't wait to see this. One of the big things, Mark, on this game type that you and I were talking about is there's a lot of nuances and nerdy ledges that you can find on this map. And when you add things like the heat wave, the overshield, and the thrust, there are going to be big angle-breaking potentials in this game type. When you talk about the speed that's required, when you talk about the players that are in this match, kill immediately registered. Bubu's the first to fall.
Well, this is going to be a fascinating game 3. And off the break here, you can see the Space Station, their opening strategy is going to be superior. The Overshield is going to be on delayed spawn here on interference as well. So it's more of a battle for map control before you're going to see a battle for those strongholds. But a big win coming in here at A. It looks like Sentinels are trying to aggressively flip A early and switch those spawns over.
Yeah, early BC hold coming in here for the side of SSG. However, they do find themselves 3 dead. Lqgend was your last player alive momentarily.
Make it 3 dead. Overshield is still up, and LethuL will be able to collect that one. So bubu now turns his attention to B, and it looks like they're going to try and hold the inside of the map here on interference. And having got the numbers back on the map now, they're going to have to go up against a full SSG, but LethuL still has that Overshield as he puts shots onto Lqgend on the car.
Yeah, still 50% or so, just under Overshield to play with. He's going to want to use this as best that he can to get to the action right away.
Bound just peeking though. And look, LethuL can't find any targets that are really easy kills at the moment. Bound with the thrust, Bound with the heat wave, but oh, LethuL with the double kill!
A veteran play from LethuL. 3 dead. Bound is your last player alive yet again. That will be more points on the board for Sentinels. A veteran play from a man who has many, many hours on the rig. Take a look at that. It was an attempted bait and switch in the White Hall against the Overshield player. LethuL was so wise to it. He does not follow that kill left. He waits, he backs up, he anticipates a player pushing right, and he turns that into a double kill. And that will also turn into continued scoring now. 50-12 in favor of Sentinels.
And not for the first time, LethuL took the hands took the heat wave out of the hands of Space Station there. He did it twice, and that means with the narrow hallways that you have and the ability to kind of loop around and pick up kills with that close range weapon, it means they don't have to worry about that too much. So one important kill is great. Picking up a +1 is always good, but if you're taking that weapon out of the hands of your opposition, it gives you a little bit more freedom on the map.
Another double kill comes in here. Overshield popping right now. Should be a grab. Let's see, I think it was Falcated who jumps on it. Lqgend tries to get an angle from the sewers, who will not be able to do so. It's another Overshield for Sentinels, and they will continue to put kills on the board right now, outslaying 13-10.
It's a reset on A, it's a conversion of B, and look at this, Falcated already pushing elbow, trying to see if he can get some shots and pressurize the spawners. All of SSG at the moment are trapped on the back railing and in the long haul, and they're going to find that out at the moment, and they're not going to worry about pushing. They know that Fal has that Overshield. They can put damage down. They might be thinking triple cap here.
They might be. I love the timing, just like you said, the pace, not rushing anything that they don't need to. Fal somehow just staying alive yet again. Eventually he's taken down, but it was 3 dead. A 1v1 Precision should be able to take this one. Didn't need to trade, but once again, right away, bubu is there to get the reset on C. They will continue scoring. They've crossed the 80-point mark.
It's so important for them as well to manage to pick that up, because if they didn't get that reset, they didn't manage to convert C, then SSG had done a pretty good job there of getting hold of A, and that would have been scoring momentarily, going back over to SSG. But if you're looking at kills at the moment, the last few moments you felt it's been all Sentinels. 98 points and rising. They're about to hit 3 figures here, and hit 3 figures they do.
And they do it, and as they cross that 100-point mark, let's get into a listen-in again to Sentinels.
Snipe behind you, snipe.
Another one, E2. Yeah. So I hit him once.
E2 to white, E2 to white.
I'll start A, just
E2 weak, E2.
Shot it past 2. In basement.
It's okay if they give basement, it's okay.
Okay, yeah. E2 or something.
No.
Yep.
Wait, look at B. One shot B.
I need your snipe all, Ethan.
Mike.
Yeah, 30 for Obi, guys. 30 Obi.
One shot B still, one shot B still.
Yo, basement window, basement window.
Throw down, Mike, throw down, Mike.
One shot basement window, Ethan. Tier.
And one will be, one shot sewers.
One shot sewers.
Sewers,
Nice. And an A, and an A.
A and bottom nest.
Bottom nest.
He's going open field, open field.
15
Look at open field, he's throwing.
Alright, 15 Obi.
They're gonna rush you, they're gonna rush you from barrels.
Yes.
Come here though, I'm here.
We spawn there.
10 Obi, guys. 10 Obi. 10 seconds.
One tower on me.
I pop.
Shot on tower.
Yeah, and top tower fighting you.
Yeah.
Down one.
Come to me, good.
Hey Mike, I killed the basement window that was.
It's on the corner. Yeah, close,
Alright, it's up right now.
Yeah,
One weak corner guys, and
I
under
gotta be
nest.
down. 2 1-shot barrels.
Hey, one shot. And what's the top snipe? Going snipe all with us, snipe all with us.
Nice.
Snipe all with us, just milk him, just buy time.
Need him.
And one sewers, sewers under nest bridge, under nest bridge.
Got me.
Carbine with camo. Or OS.
Still.
Where's the bottom
Almost,
nest?
I don't know.
With sewers. He's bottom
Yeah,
nest.
I mean,
Send it to him.
One
One
shot.
shot under nest bridge.
He's in
Yeah,
sewers.
Don't cap this, do not cap this.
I have death cam.
We come out of the Sentinels listening and back into the game, and momentum has completely shifted. It is a triple cap that came in for a few seconds, and then 1v1s, then team kills started to happen. And all of a sudden, you can see SSG have held this triple for quite some time, and the score is about to flip as well. Sentinels find themselves 3 dead, and you can see Lqgend, he's chasing down the final kill on bubu as well.
Wow, I mean, an unbelievable run here coming in from SSG. They were also trailing, by the way, 24-17 in slays, and now they are outslaying Sentinels for really the first time in this series, if we're completely honest. It's a very, very different game, as you said, than when the listening started. Just like that, 150 to 115, essentially a 90-point unanswered run.
Well, finally, they get some kills here, Sentinels, but they've been on a split spawn for the last 60 seconds or so, it felt, where they've just been able to flood one of the strongholds, use their numbers effectively to get the kills, and then off the back of it, reset one of those strongholds. 165 and rising, and for the first time in this series, you really feel like Sentinels are being asked questions here. How do you play off the back foot? Falcated going to slow things down momentarily. Lqgend trying to clean up the damage, but it looks like Sentinels will quell the bleeding for a few moments.
Yeah, not able to do it just yet, but Lqgend waits for the help wisely, so as he picks up another kill here at C. They will now continue scoring with an AC hold. And it must be said, Mark, how about you see SSG's first overshield of the game, and just like that, they go on really a terrifying now 150-point run, unanswered, continuing to trip cap. The next overshield's in 15 seconds. They could decide the game.
Yeah, they have an absolute stranglehold on the map at the moment. Falcated gets one kill again. bubu's trying to convert 8. They've just got to play for one at the moment. If they can get one stronghold, then they can play around it, get players back on the map, and this is their opportunity to do so. SSG went 2 dead. Lqgend is going to be trying to clean up more, but 2 dead doesn't mean too much when you've got Lqgend still on the map. The overshield will be picked up as well, and SSG are rolling as all of Sentinels have gone to sleep.
Well, LethuL tried to get away. He almost dropped there to basement, almost got away with the overshield at the very last second. You could see the animation happening thanks to the player outlines. LethuL was split second, milliseconds away from finishing that overshield pop. Instead, it's a trip cap at 235. Overshield still in hand. This one is all but over.
Look at them, they're trapped. They're absolutely trapped at the moment. The overshield is still here. As you can see that the takeover is complete from SSG. And from nearly 100 points down, if you turned away for a few moments, you would not have seen what SSG just did. That was dominant.
Dominant, and to be honest, I think it's what you and I, basically what we talked about, the amount of proficiency on the rig in Halo 5 from players like this on the side of SSG. That's what we expected. Now, it took them 3 overshield rotations to get that first OB, but once they did, they never looked back. That game ends 250 to 115. We'll take a look at some highlights, and you're going to notice something here. There's a big shift that happened in this game. SSG just runs away with it.
Yeah, you look at the individual plays at the start of the game, it was Sentinels who were winning those little battles, but the overshield, like you say, it was a pivotal moment. It allowed freedom on the map. It allowed SSG to take a straight 4v4 for the first time, it felt, without having to go up against someone. And yeah, just these little wins at the end of the game. Every single time that they picked up 1 or 2 kills, the split spawns, they were collapsing so quickly. And Sentinels just couldn't get back on the map. I can't really remember a last time in that 60 seconds that Sentinels had 4 alive.
No, I absolutely can't either. By the way, thanks to those highlights, we did get to see what the exact run was. Essentially an uncontested 180-point run in that game to close it out in the end. 250 to 115. Unsurprisingly, they will also outslay in the end, 43 to 34. So it looked like it might be a fast first series of the day. SSG says, I don't think so. They will send us to a game number 4 at minimum, King of the Hill on recharge, and look to force a game number 5 reverse sweep as well.
It's interesting, isn't it? We were saying, you know, is this going to be a good game type, a bad one? Well, SSG have just shown that they know how to play that map and that mode extremely well. King of the Hill, though, that's what we need to focus on now, as we can see the records so far. Spacestation with a 5-2 record, where Sentinels straight down the middle, 2v2 for them.
I mean, how about it? If you wanted any reason that we thought we were going to force a game number 5 in this series, this is the exact stats card that would suggest that that will be the case. SSG looking to make this a bit of a longer series, perhaps, than everyone expected.
I want to know what's said on these breaks when SSG step off the stage, by the way, because whatever it is, it's inspirational words, and they just seem to come back looking like a completely different team. I think for Sentinels, though, you've got to put yourself in the headspace of, hey, we're still 1-up in this series. You know, it's still 2-1. We're still on the precipice, 1 game away from knocking SSG down to the elimination bracket and really making a statement here. King of the Hill, a game type that traditionally you would say, I would say the past for previous Sentinels lineups they like, because they can set up, they can move around the map, and SSG a little bit more dynamic, maybe not theirs, but with the way this series has gone at the moment, I really feel like this is just a straight 50-50.
Exactly. I think all bets are off. And luckily, I think Sentinels and their fans are also going to feel the same way. We've been talking a lot about historical stats between these teams, but let's not forget this is a brand new Sentinels roster that's coming in. And of course, based on the first 2 games alone, they're playing, and even their Friday as well, they're playing a very, very different game. We're going to get it now into game number 4, SSG versus Sentinels. Sentinels leading 2-1. They want to end it here.
SSG looking to send us to a game 5. Sentinels looking to close out. Camo battle going to be the main focus at the start of this game, understandably so, and it looks like it should be won by Spacestation. The Sentinels find themselves 3 dead, but bubu, as last alive, he's going to challenge, and StelluR has more work to do.
Yeah, StelluR doubles right back in the end. That'll be traded out, though, so still no grab on the power-up just yet. We'll keep a very close eye on that. Big shout-out to observers for also keeping an eye on that here. Picture in picture, it is grabbed in the end. Looks like a Sentinels grab. It will be LethuL with the camo. All 8 players alive. big play coming up right now.
Yeah, fantastic dynamic on the map right now because Lqgend has the shock. He gets the first kill. Pipe control, that is all belonging to Space Station at the moment, but the camo gives you an opportunity to break. However, with the kills being picked up by SSG, LethuL has to make the most out of this camo. Gets the beat down, manages to not get traded out or take damage himself, and now he's looking for the second, and LethuL with the camo has broken. He's given them an opportunity now to try and wrestle back Pipe's control.
You really can't ask for much more than that. bubu now going to also try to get into the mix. This is not going to be easy against a player like StelluR. Finally, they win it. As you say, they cause enough chaos, though, but maybe a little bit too little too late on this first hill, 2v2 on the map.
2v2, but Pipe control and spawns will be still good for SSG. You would expect them to be closest to the hill when they come off that respawn, and of course the shot is still down as well. Wallbound trying to escape with that grapple. Not going to be able to do so, but should be able to at least get that shock rifle back into the hands of his teammates. StelluR will pick it up, and in a few moments' time, if he can hit a few shots and keep bubu away, then they might be closing out this first hill. Precision, he's trying to extend this hill a little bit more. He's trying to milk his life, and he might have just done so.
Yeah, able to stay alive as long as he can, but LethuL is your last player alive, and with that, that will certainly be the first hill for SSG.
bubu trying to desperately make a play at the end of this, but not going to be able to. Plays his life instead, gets that kill. But SSG go up by one here, and this is a different looking Space Station Gaming.
It really is. Sentinels let a few too many points get on the board there in that first hill. You had a feeling that they were going to have a second life, but really they left themselves no room for error in that first hill, and as a result, we will now see SSG leading 1-0, and you can't help but think it's a very different SSG than we saw before the break.
2 camos in a row for Sentinels, excuse me. Not really going to be put to use though. Damage was good, but nothing turned into a kill. As this battle and this flood through the tower does continue. Sentinels controlling the hill for now. They're almost halfway done on this, so even though the scrappy battle hasn't really been won, the trades are good enough for Sentinels to keep that spawn over a blue.
StelluR also gets taken down. That's a really big kill to keep them on bat spawns, and another big kill that comes in from Sentinels now, as they're all LethuL, excuse me, as SSG is trying to make this push as a team of 2. Not going to be easy. This could be the hill right now.
Could be the hill unless StelluR can get around this corner and cause some damage. However, the call out should be there. However, no one in position. Sentinels find themselves 2 dead. 2 no-shield players in the hill, but nobody there to capitalize. And as close as Sentinels are, they can't call it their hill quite yet because Space Station have managed to break.
Somehow, from a man disadvantage, they make that push happen. It looked like it was going to be over. There were only players at Whirlpool and Long Haul. Somehow they get across the map, and they're now just about to tie it here on this second hill.
Problem is here for Sentinels, they're trapped on the long haul. They have to make a Hail Mary play. They have to try and flood through one of these chokeholds.
Oh,
but
no.
StelluR with the stick, and StelluR with the double. He's going to shut it down.
Oh, no.
Sentinels get shut down. It's 4 dead, and SSG should be able to close this hill out.
I don't want to speak too soon, but we could watch that play back as a pretty historic turning point in this series. That is a hill as StelluR continues his reign of terror. That is a hill that they had no business winning. That was about 75 or 80% of the way to 0. And as a team of 2 against 4, they somehow make the push happen. And like you said, that long haul funnel, that choke, that gauntlet, Sentinels cannot push through in the end. They get forced into the SSG blender, and just like that, SSG leads 2-0.
Look at Lqgend, he's feeling confident, he's challenging. Even though he knows Falcated's got the upper hand in that fight, gets damage down. 2v2 on the map, and Space Station get their first camo in quite some time. Eco, though, he gets beat down, and oh, the camo is going to be useless as Precision goes hunting.
Yeah, Precision, nice little nade there, just kind of pre-nading where he thought the camo was going to be, clearly, and he does get the kill in the end off of some help from LethuL as well. That was 2 dead, a momentary 3 dead here off the spawn cycle. Actually, it's a momentary 4 dead based off of the staggered kills. This will be an opportunity for Sentinels to find some footing, and hopefully, for their sake, not let history repeat itself.
I was going to say, getting those last 2 kills on Elevator was so important just to make sure that the spawns weren't going to be close to that hill. They flush him out perfectly. bubu gets that double, and they also get that hill. bubu has a shock rifle, and Sentinels answer back after the heartbreak of that second hill.
And it's still 3 dead, staggered 4 dead again. This is your first spawner here in Long Haul. Not going to be an easy battle for Precision. We'll see if somehow eventually stays alive long enough, though, for continued 4 dead. So this game and the pace is unbelievable. Let's not forget, only about 20 seconds have gone across the game clock while they got that first hill, so there's still a lot of time for them to play with here, and they're only down by 1 hill. Now the pressure goes back on the side of Space Station. They need to make sure they close it out here.
bubu tickles with a shock, now turns his attention to helping his teammate in tower. It's 2 dead again here for Space Station. Eco's going to be no shields on the back right battery. Lqgend, he's going to pose. Goal! LethuL's going to clean it up as bubu shocks the heart for just a few seconds to slow that heart rate down.
Push coming in here, though, bottom Hydro. That's where Lqgend went. They lost track of him for a moment. We'll see if Lqgend can jump up here. He does. Lqgend and Bound work together on a very good push that could change the way this hill goes.
Eco gets another as well, and now Sentinels starting to get a little bit trapped again. LethuL's got to buy time here. He's got to stay alive as long as he can. Bound's trying to do the same, and it's going to be SSG who win that final scrap with the 2v2. Now, Camo coming up as well. Bound inside of this hill. Sentinels with a good start on this fourth hill, but not really a solid enough hold to call it their own.
This camo's big. All 8 players alive on the map. Wherever this camo goes could really determine the way the game goes.
2 players on the needles. That nade could be special. Bound is going to fly through. He should be able to clean up one, but his teammates are going to get there first. And they say to him, we've done the heavy work. Grab yourself a camo and come back and help us claim this hill.
Very, very calm, very cool and collected here, coming in from not just Bound, but all of the SSG side. They knew they had the advantage here. They had the hold. They were going to force Sentinels into them. They play that camo perfectly now, and they're likely going to steal this hill right out from under Sentinels.
This might be the last push for Sentinels as well, because Bound, with this camo, is going to recognize where the play is coming in, where the kills are coming in as well, and he's saying, hey, with 3 dead, it doesn't matter if we've got camo. I'm going to grab a little bit extra time here, and Sentinels may have one more push on this, or they might have to give it up.
They might have to. Take a look at this. I don't think they have the time. They need to make sure they don't also lose too many numbers here, but they're about to lose both, if you ask me. The hill goes, and right now they're going to continue trying to fight from long haul, but it won't be easy. Eventually, they do manage to keep things interesting. 2 dead. Lqgend, though, exchanged out with a perfect kill of his own, but more importantly, looking at the scoreboard, Spacestation ensures that the game does not go 2-2. They now lead 3-1. They are 1 hill away from forcing a game number 5.
And it's such a tough hill to hold, isn't it? Bottom middle, it's such a scrappy hill and so difficult to get the time on the board. You can constantly be contested. There's always a line of sight, you feel, towards that player in the hill. And Sentinels, the one thing they have on their side here is time. 2 minutes and 18 seconds left on this game clock. If they get this next hill in the next minute or so, then there is going to be an opportunity to maybe tie this up.
2 dead, 3 dead now. Precision is your last player alive. See what Lqgend could do. The assist does come in. That means it's a staggered 4 dead. As you can
oh, sweet Jesus!
Falcated was your first spawner. But before I could even say that, he's already been taken down. So it'll be continued 4 dead spawns, and they're going to have to wait for each other here because this game could be over very quickly.
Shock rifle in the hands of Lqgend is a terrifying thing. And Sentinels are finding that out right now. It looks like at the moment that they are just baiting Sentinels into that hill. They know they have to go for it. Camo's up as well, but Lqgend's just thinking about adding some more shock rifle kills. Can't quite connect this time, but will secure the camo for his team. Bound has got away with it, I think, but he just got traded out. Precision, he's inside of the hill. Lqgend deals with him.
Looks like the power-up still might have dropped there, but most importantly, we're taking a look at the scoreboard here. It will be Spacestation leading on this hill as well. Only about 25% of the way, away from closing it out. 2 dead still for Sentinels.
Sentinels just been really struggling to get out of the spawn, to find some map control, and having to be forced constantly with SSG stepping into that hill to extend themselves. Makes their decisions so much more difficult to make. Eco with another trade. Trades, if you're in the lead, are absolutely fine. If you're chasing, you need to make sure that you're staying alive on the map.
It's been a narrow slaying game. It's really only just about 10 kills separated
again.
to 2, 3 dead. And now this should be the final moments here of the game.
SSG looking to send us to a game 5 here. It has been a comeback of epic proportions as they send us the distance here in London. It's going to be a game 5 as SSG will win King of the Hill.
You might say we were always headed here. A game number 5. The defending champs were not going to go down this easy, but let's not forget, in game number 3, they were trailing by about 90 points. They have mounted a comeback in that game, and they have not looked back since. A fantastic piece of play to ensure that that game did not go 2-2. Instead, it went 3-1, and then closed out 4-1. Send us to a 5th and final game of the series. Here's a look at some highlights.
I mean, the takeover around that, I think it was the heartbreak of losing that second hill that really affected Sentinels. They managed to get 1 hill on the board at the back of it, but the control of that bottom middle hill, I have to say, from SSG, it looked unbreakable at times. They just constantly had numbers, constantly getting that first pick. They could just kind of bide their time when they wanted to step into it. And it almost felt like at the start, they were like, hey, let's just play time. We feel like we can kill them for 2 minutes. And then they were like, hey, we can actually do this from the hill. And they stepped inside of it. They closed the game out without it going to time. And SSG look very different now that we head to the game 5 in comparison to what they did after 2.
They really do, and I have to say, I think that hill, like you said, that second hill getting lost, it felt like it in the moment, and it feels like it now as well, that was going to be a piece of play that we look back on as a very, very important part of this series, and it now has been confirmed indeed as we go to a 5th and final game to decide it. That 4-1 win is a big one, and now so much, not only victories on the board for SSG, but it feels like momentum as well.
What would hurt more for Sentinels than to go to a game 5 of Optic, lose? Go to a game 5 of SSG and lose? They're the margins, right? We talk about the big 3. They're the big 3 for a reason. It's because they can close out close games. They can close out the close series against teams who are so talented. So for Sentinels, a lot riding on this game. The same, of course, can be said for Spacestation, but they know they can do it. For Sentinels, with a new player on the team, this is a new challenge for them.
It is. We took a look at both of these two before the series started. They have now each tracked and clocked 2 games apiece to send us to one final game to end the series. Those two guys, no strangers to Game 5 Slayers. They're going to need to know exactly what they need to do to close this one out. But let's not forget, historically, we've seen a huge, huge margin for SSG and Slayers. But game number 2, it was a 50-45, a pretty convincing margin at this level, by the way. A 50-45 win for Sentinels in game number 2. Can they repeat and make sure they still close out the series, or will we see SSG complete the reverse sweep in game number 5? That's the question.
Well, here we go then, London. A game 5 is in front of us. Let's get this thing going. One thing to talk out a little bit before we get into this, the difference between game 2 Slayer and game 5 Slayer here is the lack of power weapons, right? This is Aquarius, it's Arena, it's traditional. You're gonna have to rely on that DMR.
This is gonna be guns blazing here. We'll see what Eco might be able to do. Overshield's still up. Looks like Lqgend thought about going towards it. He does. He grabs it as well, and that's going to be some early kills exchanged. 2-2 on the board, but a nice overshield. Wow, a LethuL somehow with unbelievable bleed-through damage there to make sure he gets that kill. And what we thought was going to be a momentary advantage for SSG off that overshield slows down immediately. Sentinels actually goes into a lead.
Little moments in series, little moments in games can change the fortune of who we call the winner at the end of it. And maybe, just maybe, that play early on for LethuL could be one we talk about as we get to the end of the series. LethuL picks up another one, but look how, again, the pace of this game is relentless. It's 5-5, and everybody is engaging, taking those 1v1s, but StelluR has the thrust in that one.
Very nice thrust there on the final shot to make sure to close that out. Now he and Bound will start to move together as a unit. Look at this from StelluR, not afraid, even though his shields were still flashing, not afraid to fly right back into the back of the base. They pick up the first 2 as they need to do, and just like that, it's a 2-kill lead.
Precision trying to extend for this kill, manages to get it, traded out immediately, though by Bound, who has had an electric start to this game 5. 5-0 for the man on your screen right now, and it's because of that thrust that he adds the 6th kill to his tally. Double positive at the start of this game, 11-8 the score.
Great score. Great start for them as well. 11-10. 12-10. Now, as we said, this one's going to be just as fast as we saw in the earlier games of the series, just back and forth with teams just flying and knowing the second a possible advantage opens up, these players are going to be flying as fast as they possibly can. 14-11 now.
Sentinels have got a tough job here because the overshield is coming up in around 10 seconds time, and they're trapped on the car side of the map. So they've got to make a decision. Do we try and fight across for this, or do we just play for the green gun that's going to spawn on our side and try and neutralize the overshield that way? Spacestation, you can see, they're not moving from this P side. They know they can control this and get that power up. And with a 3-kill advantage, if you get that overshield, that can go one way very quickly.
Precision trying to make something happen. He will trade it out in the end. However, it still should be SSG numbers on the overshield itself. We'll keep a very close eye. It is Lqgend. He does pop it, turns the 180, turns back again to make sure they secure this overshield, and he still has a little bit of additional shields to play with.
Precision's flying in. Precision gets the trade, and I have to say, even though it was an overshield going to the side of Spacestation, the way Sentinels rotated around and picked up kills just as it came up meant they had guns up. When Lqgend had that overshield, he wasn't able to impact the game as much as he would have wanted to, and Sentinels now bring this game within 1.
Couldn't agree more. Precision leading the team in kills, also making sure he's there. Not only did he start that overshield battle with the top car jump up, he also flies in to trade the overshield out, just getting right back into the action right away. That keeps the game within just 1 kill.
Bubu's got the heat wave as well, so weapons, well, Sentinels have got him. Thrust is also in his hands. He's got 1 to play with. And think about what Bound managed to do at the start of this game with the thrust. Well, Bubu's not going to be able to match that because he gets taken down, and that's thrust going to be used up. It's going to mean the heat wave is down as well as StelluR goes hunting, but there's no one to find because Sentinels were 4 dead.
brilliant exchange of play coming from SSG. As we said, it was just 1 kill. Now it's 4 kills, separating them at 23-19. And StelluR just going to look to hold ping 2 as long as he can. Already getting a lot of information as well on the whereabouts of the other opponents. This could be quick work coming in. Here comes the collapse. 3 dead, 4 dead again, back to back. 4 deads coming in. SSG now lead by 7.
They are starting to roll here, Spacestation Gaming. This is a different looking SSG than what we saw earlier in the series. They are hunting in packs. They are looking to extend this lead and punish Sentinels inside of this base. And Sentinels are just trying to fight out at the moment. They're trying to get any kind of map presence, but even the nades, 2 nades, 3 nades can't take him down until Precision finally steps out with that bandit rifle and picks up a double.
Steps out, as you said, the double kill keeps the game close. It was 3 dead momentarily, now 4 for the side of SSG. Now 24-29. SSG answers back with a 4 dead, Sentinels answers back with a 4 dead of their own, and they get an overshield off the back of the perfectly timed 4 dead. So what was a 7-kill game is now just a 5-kill game with an overshield advantage. Let's see if Falcated can collapse here.
This is the opportunity, this is the chance, this is what you needed to do. Eco gets taken down as well. SSG are 3 dead, and Sentinels are coming back into this game once again. It's 3 kills between the 2 teams, and again, the overshield is the difference as bubu top middle, he grabs that thrust as well.
Unbelievable. You thought that we might see them run away with it here. A 7-kill lead at a moment like that could have been an opportunity to just run away with this game. Instead, Sentinels, they answer back with perfectly timing kills, and now only trail 33-30. We'll see if Precision can make the push here.
Well, Precision wants to push. You can see he wants to be aggressive. All of SSG are trapped in the base. Falcated is cleaning up damage, but trades are still coming in from SSG in this base. Fal's trying to clean up more damage, but there's more spawners. Wow. Now he has to back out. You have to say, he's playing this perfectly, this situation. Not getting overzealous for kills, making sure that he keeps his deaths down as well.
Love the trigger discipline there. Also the target selection coming in from Falcated. Eventually he picks up another one against Eco. Finally he's taken down. Kills will be traded again. Still a 4-kill game, 38-34. This is your home stretch.
Next overshield could be the difference maker in this game. It's not quite up yet, but you imagine with the game and the way it's going and the time that's elapsing, there's going to be time for another. Bound trying to put some shots down onto the players exiting from the P side. LethuL picks up 1 kill. Bound taking a lot of damage, and I don't think he's sure where from, but Lqgend and StelluR, they get 2 to keep this lead in the favor of SSG as the overshield battle starts.
This is really do or die here. Sentinels cannot afford to let this overshield go, but SSG is going to continue to apply the pressure. Somehow Bound stays alive, eventually taken down. Kills will be exchanged. 7 seconds until the overshield, and a 4-kill game.
Precision gets taken down. 2 dead on either side. But StelluR, he's got the line of sight onto this overshield. Lqgend's in front of him, but Lqgend will fall. The shields are stripped from StelluR as well, and this is an opportunity maybe for this overshield to be contested. Eco, he finds 1. Precision gets taken down as well. Sentinels are 3 dead. Falcated last alive. He has the overshield, but he explodes in a cloud of blue, and what a play that might have won Spacestation this series.
StelluR has essentially hits the stick Insta-splode on the overshield player to, as you say, probably win the series here. 47-41, 3 kills to go.
3 kills to go. Damage already been done. It's 2 dead. It's 3 dead. It's the series, and the reverse sweep going to the side of Sentinels, and Eco lets them know.
And he had to watch a lot of bubu standing up earlier in the series, right? And it feels like ages ago that we saw bubu getting loud and staring down the eyes of SSG. With the smack talk, guess what? Eco gets the last lap. In this series, all of SSG will be the ones walking across to their side of the stage. Of course, handshakes still exchanged on the main stage, but in the end, it's a reverse sweep from Spacestation Gaming. Your defending champions will win in the end their first series on the main stage and look ahead to the next match in the winner's bracket, which of course will be Shopify Rebellion.
Wow, what an incredible series. What an unbelievable comeback from the 4 gentlemen on your screen right now. And like I said, that little step away after game 2.
Look at that.
Just locked them back in, and they looked like the SSG that wins championships. 250-115 when they step back on that stage. 2-0 down in the series. They win it. 4-1 King of the Hill recharge, and 50-42 Slayer Aquarius. SSG showing they want this winner's bracket run to continue.
SSG is going to be wall sizing this series layout, making a giant mural out of it, because tell you what, if I saw a series layout like this, I would be like, send me the VOD right now. I want to watch this one. This was one to remember, one of my favorite series in a very long time, and SSG showing why they are currently ranked #1 in the world.
Incredible performance from them, but the question has to be asked, right, what next for Sentinels? Close, but not close enough is pretty much the story so far. Optic Gaming, Game 5. Sentinels take Spacestation, Game 5. But again, the big 3, when it matters, just have this ability to turn things around when it seems like it's done and dusted, like they're in the dark. They find their way to the light and they win series.
That's going to continue to boost their confidence as well, right? To be able to pull yourself off the stage and say, hey, here's what we need to do, but then to do it, those are two different things. Once again, SSG showing that they have what it takes to stay on the winner's side of the bracket. For Sentinels, still so much to be proud of, but a lot to think about as they head into the elimination bracket.
Yeah, it's the classic thing. It's never done until it's done, right? That's the series. That's Halo. That's how it works. Even though you're thinking, hey, we've only got to win one of the next three, you still got to win one of the next three. And it sounds silly to say out loud, but the proof is in front of you right now with this series layout. And I think for SSG, confidence is going to be higher than ever at this point. Sentinels, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board in the elimination bracket. But trust me, I think Sentinels are going to have something to say at the end of this tournament. I think they're going to have a lot more good games of Halo that are going to push some of the top teams. And I think if they can learn from that series, then they might still be there come Championship Sunday.